All right, Mr. Bill, let's talk about planting a bare root rose. What's that process?
Well, a bare root rose typically they ship them like that because you don't have to pay for soil.
Gotcha.
So they just wrap them up. You can get them usually at a discounted price. Now, typically, if you order from some of the big nurseries, they tell you to soak them in water with just a tad of bleach to kill any kind of germs that might have picked up from the, so you soak it for anywhere from 24 hours, 12 hours, to, I mean, you can leave it in there for 3 days.
Wow. Okay.
That helps hydrate the roots. Because when it comes, it just doesn't have any roots. It's just got the big main roots, which kind of balance out the canes on top. Now this has got
pretty moist.
Yeah, it's full of water.
Yeah.
It's
just paper. Yeah. Look at that.
Now they've wrapped that pretty much with either pine fines or hardwood mulch, and you can see.
Yeah, look at
you can see that that's going to be the, Mother Nature to feed the canes.
That's nice.
Now for purposes, I don't know what's in there, and we'll just see what's.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of. That's why you go to a nursery and you get a really nice plant.
Gotcha.
Because here, there's.
Oh, it's not many at all.
I hadn't found the roots yet. This is kind of good to. This is the difference between getting a good potted rose that'll have canes on the top, and the roots on the bottom will be the same size as the canes on the top.
Okay, got it.
And as you can see here, there's not a whole lot of food source. These leaves come from the roots.
Yeah.
And all the sugars and starches, it's fed from the roots to the leaves and up through the canes. This just don't have a whole lot of, so you kind of get what you pay for.
Oh, yeah.
And what kind of concerns me is somebody to go buy one of these because it's only $6 or $7. I thought, well, it didn't do very well.
Yeah.
Well, now we know why it didn't.
We know why. We know why. No food source. We know why.
I've never seen this. This is. I've opened a bunch of these up. Typically, if you order them from the online type nurseries, the canes will be about as long as here, but this size, and the roots will literally be that long.
Gotcha.
And sometimes I'll trim them back a little bit, but they've taken.
Yeah, sure you don't trim them back that far, right?
Yeah, it's going to take this plant. I mean, it's growing, and you see new canes. All of these will be canes that came from a bud eye. One here, one here, one here, and I thought it was good for a demonstration. But normally, I'd have canes like that, and I would.
Wow.
This is just almost humorous. I'd have canes down 1.5 feet. I'll add a little soil. Guess you can call that. I'll put some Epsom salt, sprinkle some of that. Yeah, you get what you pay for.
Oh, yeah. It's a good example, though.
I'll add a little more dirt.
There you go.
Just prop that up. Now, I'm going to break that little one off the top.
Okay. Now, what about your fertilizer now?
Yeah.
I think that was going to need some help.
Now, as small as the roots are, well, a lot of times you can put, some of the water solubles.
Okay.
Typically, when you get a new bush, you want to go half strength. If it calls for a tablespoon to the gallon, you want to put a half a tablespoon to the gallon, because it's good for vigorous plants that are already established. But you take a plant like this, it could tend to burn some of that new, and you saw how fine and white they are. Add a little more dirt. Soggy dirt.
Yeah, soggy.
It's so soggy, I don't even know you. soil would be offended. Because you want to use some of the soil that came out of it, at least a third. You can add any kind of amendments you want. Any compost or type materials are really good.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of pack it down some. Now this is a case where with no more roots, I don't want those to dry out.
Gotcha.
So any kind of mulch, pine fines or hardwood bark. Hardwood's a little less money, and I like it just as well. Okay. It breaks down quicker and it adds amendments to the soil. And
so you pile it up again.
I'm piling it up,
Gotcha.
just so those canes keep some moisture in them. Right now we got plenty of moisture. But a normal, and I don't remember what that is, you know, if it gets dry, those canes will get dry. And that, you know, all of a sudden that plant will start wilting down, and sometimes it'll recover and sometimes it won't.
Okay.
And and then later on, as it comes up and bushes out, you can come in with the water hose and spray it with a strong stream and take it down a little bit. And by, you know, the end of May, starting of June, you're just going to have,
put it on back. Okay.
you know, you're just going to pull it on back.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
If you don't, where you were going to get a cane, you'll get a root. Mother Nature's pretty strong-willed.
Okay. Now, does any of this need to be pruned? Is that okay? Or?
No, these are good, and these are, you can see, there's a little brown on this side, and I'm gonna go ahead and prune it, and then I look at the cane, and I can see where there's just a little bit of brown on one side and it's starting. Okay. And this will start it fresh. Over here, this looks kind of, you want a good clean cut. And as we tell people, you know, you want to use a bypass instead of an anvil. And I've run into
crush it, right.
people that's got an anvil and it just mashes that cane and it's going to die.
Right.
And then I'll sprinkle a little more product on the top. I see a little powder. That's probably, this has got a lot of microbial types, feathers, kelp.
Got the earthworm.
Worm casings. And that'll just go down into the soil. Now once this cane starts coming out, depending on the bloom, it takes about 40 days to go from a bare cane, a cane sprouts out, it'll get up to here, and it takes about 40 days before you'll get a bloom.
40 days.
Once you get that bloom, you deadhead it and you just cut down below it. And then it takes another 40 days to get that bloom. So it's one day your roses, you've got a lot of roses in your garden, like in May.
Right.
And then like the end of May, you've got a bunch of new growth that looks like this and no roses.
How about that? So the 40 days will pretty much get us to Mother's Day, so she can get roses for Mother's Day.
There you go. That's, you know, you get the, and typically roses bloom best in cool weather. The first one in May, and the last one in about October, when the weather cools down. That's where you get the really big blooms. Once it gets hot, those blooms open up and fall apart before you get home from work.
Sure. Well, Mr. Bill, we appreciate the demonstration.
Well,
Bare root rose planting. How about that? Wish we didn't have that many roots, so appreciate that, right?
It did. Hopefully we'll look for more roots next time.
Hopefully so. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please click the subscribe button below.